important for us to paint the picture of why is uncertainty challenging and what is it as leaders that we need to be mindful of in the way that we approach this topic, whether it's for ourselves, reflecting on our own style, our defaults, our tendencies, or whether it's allowing us to actually view the way that we see our people, our team, stakeholders that we're engaging with react at different times. And you can frame this in two ways. You can talk about definite uncertainty, and in many ways, the psychology of the human brain is better geared for the black and white. The harsh reality of the lockdowns and things that we lived through over the course of the last couple of years is in many ways an easier level of uncertainty for us to contemplate and deal with, because there's sort of a reality of the extremes. Then sometimes the grey and the nuance of the variety of choices that are available to us in this moment in time. I think this quote from H.P. Lovecraft is great. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, or humankind is fear. And the oldest and strongest kind of fear is the fear of the unknown. So the human brain, and this is what we know from the research, it is uniquely vulnerable to uncertainty. Uncertainty acts like rocket fuel for worry. It allows us to see risks everywhere. So if some people will use the frame forecasting. I've heard people talk about fear casting. When we're in that state of uncertainty, it's very easy to be doom and gloom and to paint a negative picture of all of the permutations and the realities of what might be. There's also a groundwork piece here for anxiety. And I think this is really important in the context of a much bigger social conversation we're having around anxiety too. Anxiety levels gone through the roof over the course of the last couple of years, unsurprisingly. And the research says, uncertainty lays the groundwork for this, because anxiety is always future oriented, and uncertainty is about that orientation towards what is the unknown, what's going to happen next. And our tendency to actually place a higher negativity on that than the experience itself. So there've been scientific experiments that have been done where people have had a more adverse emotional and physical reaction to the anticipation of an electric shock than they had to an electric shock in and of itself. So the catastrophization and the unknown process and what our unconscious can do and the narrative we tell ourselves can often be a far greater negative reality than the situation we find ourselves in. And a lot of research around the idea that people who are anxious, so who have a degree of fear about the uncertainty, the way that that's going to pay out, will often pay to avoid uncertainty. So